Okay, time for my second video. I gotta do it kind of quick because I gotta get to work. But my second video is kind of a serious video. I have experienced it, and I know that a lot of people out there have experienced this as well. So I just want to touch on it because I think that it's a very important subject. Trauma basically is what we're going to be talking about, is trauma and traumatic events. When you are the product of a traumatic event, sometimes that can cause your parents or your siblings or some family member to treat you differently or to treat you in a really, really bad way. In most cases, if this is the case in your family, no matter how hard you try, no matter how many years have gone by, no matter what nice things you have done, no matter what, good things have gone on in your life, you will never erase that trauma. You will always be the reminder of that trauma. And so sometimes it's best to just distance yourself from the situation and make a life of your own. Now, let me tell you what I mean. What I mean by this is sometimes there are things that happen to our parents during a time when we are either born or we're really young, or might involve us in the situation. And so we in turn become the reminder of that situation for that person. So I'll give you an example. I know a couple of people, but I know somebody who, when they were younger, maybe a couple of months, maybe a year, maybe just born. I'm not really sure exactly when it took place. But their father cheated on their mom. And their mom found out. And once the mom found out, the father kind of left and just was like, I'm done. I'm not going to deal with this anymore. And left the mom by herself with this child. So the child now becomes the reminder of that trauma. Now, because of you, I can't go and live my life. Now, your father has left me to take care of you. And even though that's not how you should think of your children, because I've been through a divorce and I love my kids. My kids are my everything. But some people are traumatized to the point that that thing becomes the reminder. It's almost like if you have an instance when you're younger where a white dog attacks you and you're like 2 years old and maybe you have a scar from that. And so now any dog, especially any white dog, brings terror to you automatically. Any moving thing that is white and small and furry might bring trauma to you. And you might become very fearful of that thing, or you might attack that thing, or, something like that. So the same thing holds true when it's a person. I've also seen a story where a person had a party when their parents went away. And the party resulted in the destruction of the house. The house had to be sold. Tattoos were given. People were drunk on the floor. And so when the parents came back, having to sell the house and all the stress that came with that, they wound up getting divorced and staying away from each other. And because of that, the person who gave the party, one of their children, became that reminder, this is why we divorced and this is what happened. And so that person can now be treated badly because of that. And it's not your fault. It's not something that you can control. It's not something that you can fix. I have had traumas go on in my life, and I have been the product of trauma. And so there has been times where I have tried to fix things in my family. I've tried to fix things in my, space, and it just hasn't worked. It's been years and years and years. I've tried many different things and nothing has worked. So in the interim, I have had to distance myself from the situation and just move on with my life. So if that's something that you have to do, like I always say, try to fix it. Try to see if you can make it better. Try to work on it. Try to see, if you can make that situation better. Or try and maybe see if that person can go and get the help that they need. Maybe they can go to therapy, or they can go see somebody, or talk to somebody, or talk it out with the person that they're mad at. Because once that trauma is healed and once that trauma has passed them, then they can begin to have a relationship with you and they can begin to treat you better. But until that trauma is fixed, you're never going to be okay with them. They're never going to treat you in a good way. And the sooner that you recognize that, the better that it becomes for you. And like I said, I'm not saying not to fix things. I'm not saying not to try or just say, oh, well, and things are never going to get better, so I'm just going to leave it alone. Try and try for years, to try and make it better. But if you see that your efforts are futile and it's not working, then sometimes you have to distance yourself. You have to grow up and you have to just go and do your life. And then once your life is done and you've gotten through all your stuff and you've made it through all the things that you need to heal from, then maybe you can go back and try again. Or maybe not. Maybe you just have to leave it alone for the rest of your life and let that person, come to you. So that's my advice for today. And, take care of those kids and take care of yourself. I love you guys. I'll see you later.